Hello everybody, and today I'm going to give you a recipe that my grandmother used to make, but I'm going to do it a little bit different than my grandmother did. And you can also do it different than even me. You could put Spam in this. I would saute the Spam first if I was you. But I'm starting off here with some boiling water because my grandmother always said that the potatoes cooked quicker if the water was already boiling before you put your potatoes in there. Now when it comes to soups, and especially if it's potato, I like it to have a thickness to it, and usually the potato, if you let it really cook a long time, it will kind of break off pieces of the potato, and instead of having this clear broth, you'll have like a milky looking type, whitish broth. And that's my goal in this. Now I'm going to put the potatoes inside the water now. And I have about, I don't know, a cup. No, it's one whole potato and a big one and then a smaller one. And then I have a couple of cups of water here. Okay? Now you don't have to do identically. You don't have to pick the meats or the things that I'm going to pick. But my grandmother made this soup because she said with 12 kids it was hard to find enough food to go around all the time, you know, especially at breakfast, because this is what you serve at breakfast. And she only needed a couple of eggs instead of 12 so that each kid could have an egg. She didn't need 12 sausage patties. She could take a quarter piece of sausage because hers was made with breakfast sausage, and she ground her own sausage. But you know, you don't just, because back then, just because you had a lot at the time didn't mean you just constantly splurged. You still had to be very careful with your food. So you know, she did that. She used like a quarter of a sausage, and she would brown her sausage first and then add it to the potatoes when the potatoes was nice and cooked. Now I use chorizo in this because, like I said, I don't like clear broths, and I also like them to have a little red to them. And if you want, you could add either tomato or a little bit of the juice from canned tomatoes, because I save that liquid. I use it to make sauces with, and you could use it here. But I'm going to go ahead and give you my version of my grandmother's recipe, and you can make your own version, and you can even make it with nothing but pure sausage. But this is delicious, and you're really, really going to like it. So I hope you'll try it and add it to your recipes. Okay, at this point, I'm going to saute all of this because it's going to go into my potato soup. Now, my grandmother used pure sausage. She grinded her own sausage and made it. And that's usually what she would put in it. She would just brown her sausage and add it to the potatoes. But she also, sometimes when she ran out of sausage, they did what they called salt cured hams. They were not smoked. They were cured strictly with salt. And she would chop up ham, and that's what I have right here, in small pieces and add to the potato. Now I have onion, ham. Now this is some frozen roasted jalapenos that I roasted, and I wrapped them up in aluminum foil and froze them. I took one out and just cut it up in pieces. And over here, this is chorizo. Now I'm going to put all this together in a pan that has a small amount of oil. I said oil, but I actually use lard. I'm going to put all of this together in this little skillet here. Now my potatoes are still cooking. I moved them to the back burner. And we're going to let all of this saute together. The chorizo will get nice and soft and runny. Chorizo is made from pork. And so, you know, pork sausage, pork chorizo. It's a type of sausage. And we're just going to let this work together and cook and heat up. And then I'll show you what we're going to do. You see how this looks? The chorizo is starting to blend in really well. And I got my onions and my bits of ham in here. And of course, my jalapeno. because like I said, I love jalapeno. Now I'm going to show you something else that we're going to put in here. Let's see if I can move this here without destroying the camera. Eggs is going to go in this soup. Now, my grandmother always said when it came to eggs, if you were going to scramble them, you should either put milk, sour cream, or heavy cream in your milk. In your eggs, I'm sorry. She claims that it makes them fluffier. Well, I have sour cream because I've tried all three, and I prefer sour cream to milk or heavy cream in my eggs when I cook them. And all I'm going to do is blend this in. Just like so. Just blend the sour cream into the eggs. Now, if you've got milk, you do the same thing. I do not add black pepper to this, okay? I just don't. I add a small amount of salt. Not much. And that's it. And then I'm going to scramble these. Now, we'll come back in a minute and I'll show you how to scramble these eggs. I want you to get a look at this soup. Now, it's nice and red, but that has to do with the chorizo. You can see the bits of ham right there to the side. Chorizo's all through it. But this is just potatoes. And like I said, my grandmother would put sausage. You see there's a big hunk of ham. And then, of course, here's my little green spots, the jalapenos. And I'm going to start my eggs in just a minute, but I just wanted to show you this soup. And we're not finished with this soup yet, okay? So we'll get started on the eggs and we'll come back. Okay, I wanted to show you this. This is just butter, salted, from Shamrock Foods. I buy it in blocks like this. It's cheaper. I like it, but I only use butter. I don't use margarine. And for these eggs, that's what I'm going to cook them in. And my skillet over here seems to be fairly hot. And I'm going to put me a kind of a thin but healthy hunk of butter there, to scramble these eggs in. So we'll get that started. I just wanted you to see that what kind of butter I buy. And this one store I do get the stick butter from. It's a store I go to locally here. It caters mostly to the Hispanic culture and their foods, but their prices are awesome, so I go there. Let's get this butter going here. There we go. And we'll come back and we'll scramble these eggs. Okay, my butter is popping here and doing good, so I'm going to pour these eggs in here. Get some of that sour cream that's at the bottom there and put in here. And I'm just going to gently stir these around. Now, if you were making an omelet, the secret to a good omelet is when you blend up the eggs, add a spoon of water. Water works for omelets, cream, sour cream, milk. Works for good, fluffy, scrambled eggs that don't taste. Some people like their eggs super dry. But I just think this helps them taste better. But that's my personal taste. Okay, you see that? Well, cookies all the way through, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. My eggs are ready. I turned down my heat lower on this. I cooked this on about medium heat. What I'm going to do here, that's right, spoon them eggs in there, like my grandma said. If you only have 1 or 2 eggs, or 3, and you got 12 people to feed, you can get 2 eggs or 3 eggs easily to break up into more than 12 pieces. And so, She would fry up them eggs first and then add it to that soup. And it tastes good, trust me, it does. Even with just sausage, it does. Look at that. Nice cold day, and today is a very cold day. Now, I'm going to plate this up so you can get a really good look at it. There you go. Here it is. Delicious. Look at that soup. This is an awesome breakfast soup that tastes delicious. That doesn't require much. It really doesn't. I put 2 potatoes in here. Just 1 big potato and a smaller one. This will feed easily 6 people. I used only 2 eggs and small amount of ham. I mean, it was just a tiny amount. And a little bit of chorizo you saw, and some onion and salt. Now, like I said, my grandmother used just sausage or ham. Sometimes she would put both if she had enough. And just a couple of eggs. But you can turn this into a breakfast soup of your choice. Sausage, ham, chorizo, whatever you may have on hand. Try it. It's wonderful. And God bless.